Hey everybody, Ryan FMTG here, and today we're going to be talking about Wesker Uroboros. This is the deck that I played last Saturday for the North American qualifier for the World Championship. I got 22nd place overall, so pretty good, but short of top 3, so not going to Japan. But congratulations for everyone who did well. Overall, it was a pretty fun, exciting tournament, and I think I played a pretty good deck, and overall played pretty well. Of course, made some mistakes here or there or some bad matchups here or there, but here's the QR code for Wesker Uroboros, and let's talk about the deck. So this is a pretty straightforward Wesker deck. We have some cards that we want to get in our graveyard, so we can use Uroboros or some of our action spells to get the creatures back. And our units that we want to get in the graveyard or play to then get in the graveyard, do some trading, are 6 main creatures. They are 3 Tyrants and then 3 Devils. These are our big payoff cards. This is what we want to resurrect over and over and over again. Then we are playing 6 other units. We are playing 3 Zombies because this is just a good early game card to do some trading, kind of make sure we don't get so far behind. And when this dies, we get a MP, which is very important since we are very MP heavy. And we're also playing 3 Tyrants just because this is nice in the Rathalos matchup of killing 1 attack or less units. And then our removal spells are 2 Murder Spikes. The life loss is not too bad in this deck, and then there is a lot of 2 attack or less creatures from the Morgan deck or Rathalos or even Ryu, other decks around. We definitely don't want 3 because they can kind of get stuck in your hand sometimes. And then we do have 4 completely hard removal, and that is Destructive Instinct as well as Obliteration. We kind of have a 2-2 split because both are good. 5 MP is better than 6 MP, but 6, it's no life loss, as well as it plays around most counters, so that's why it's a 2-2 split. And then we also have 4 action cards that can help us flip a slow Tyrant into a fast Tyrant, and that is 2 Selfless. This is a nice way to buffer our life with, losing life with Murder Spike and Destructive Instinct, as well as then 2 Man Massacres. This also helps flip the Tyrant, as well as dealing 5 damage RNG style spread randomly among all enemy units. That usually can kill a unit or 2 if we're lucky, or just chip away. And then we have the nice package of 3 False Thrones to get a Devil into the graveyard, and then 3 Rebirths to hopefully get a Devil or faster slow Tyrant back from the graveyard. And then we are playing the card that everyone loves to hate. I know I just love this card. It's Living Death. It is a little overpowered for sure, but this is a nice board wipe across your units or your opponent's board, as well as getting back all your Devils and Tyrants and stuff. A couple tips and tricks with this deck is this is a very, very top-heavy MP cost deck, so sometimes you might want a Rebirth, but maybe you should wait a couple seconds to see if you can get the free 2 MP with doing Rebirth in response to an action from your opponent's side. And then a big theme keeping in mind with Living Death and Rebirth is if this zombie dies once, it goes back into the deck and Revenge is activated. So this zombie does not go to the graveyard yet. But if you draw it, and when you play it with the Revenge activated, so for 1 MP, and then it's a 5-2, if that dies, it will go to the graveyard. So sometimes as soon as you draw this, you don't want to play it. Because if you have not cast any of your Rebirths or your Living Death, you do not want to fill your graveyard with all these zombies or tyrants. Because, if you Rebirth for a zombie, that's not the worst thing in the world, but you definitely want to be getting, a Devil or a Tyrant. Overall, I think this deck is very good. It has a lot of play, and it does reward for play patterns, as well as against the meta. It's really good. It does struggle against the 4-drop Morgan list, but the mirror matches can be very grindy and very fun, and then against Rathalos, it's usually pretty good. So why don't we jump into some games, and let's keep going. Okay. We're champion. Our score is 1670, I believe. I haven't played so much this season since it's only, the 7th day. Okay, Darkness Illusion. So this is either going to be the 4-drop Morgan or maybe like a Season 2 Ibuki style Morgan. So we're just going to go right off the bat, just 1-2 punch.
Your struggles are futile.
They might counter this, but I feel like they would have countered the False Throne, perhaps. Either way, this is what we're going to do. Getting an Obliteration is good. So this is probably the Ibuki Resonate deck, which I would rather face, and getting an Obliteration is nice, because this is a good failsafe, right? So let's just do this. And then we can do that. So then we'll have 2 big creatures. Sometimes having 2 big creatures is not great if they had more AP. Ooh, we did that at the exact same time. This is a little unfortunate. Because they'll do something in response. Okay. So now we are just going to kind of wait to net some MP to hopefully obliterate this. This would be good if this trade happened at the bottom, but they probably will halt it. I'll just kind of wait to see what happens. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think we just have to kill this Dante. But this leaves us very vulnerable to a Buki or something like that. You know, their next big haymaker. Okay, they need 2 more to do their critical art. I think we might just need to do this. Like, I don't particularly want to, because I kind of want to just net MP, so if they play a Buki or something, but we didn't have anything, so drawing our second Obliteration's fantastic. Because we're getting some cheap shots here and there. So, I think we actually just need to obliterate this. You can obliterate your own unit like you're seeing here, because we want this to go into our graveyard, so now we can use our critical to get it back. I think we'll just use it. They can... Okay, they surrendered. Because they already had used 1 halt, because there's only a finite amount of halts that they can use to actually, you know, halt big creatures. I do like that matchup a lot more than the 4-drop Morgan, because that matchup, we have 4 removal spells, especially the 2 obliterations, that just hard stop everything. It's very hard for them to counter. You know, they can use like 2 counter spells or something, but it's hard. Okay, a Jill deck, let's go. Usually the Ryu matchup and Jill tends to be very good for this deck, just because we do have some life gain. And we usually can, like, our slow tyrants can soak up a lot of damage, stuff like that. This hand is a little slow because this tyrant is not particularly fantastic against them. This is a pretty bad start, but we might as well just use this because we have nothing else going on in our hand. You know, having these 2 cards that we need a unit out to play is not particularly exciting. And then, like, obviously we're not going to play this anytime soon. Well, it's a little unfortunate, because if we go for this... Ugh. Jeez. We might just need to do this, unfortunately. Like, even though they're going to get 2, but, like, if we start to take hits by the Nash, that's just going to be kind of game over. And yeah, they get 2 cards back. Okay. This is this is a pretty rough one. I think we're just going to have to kill this. Okay, I was kind of waiting to hopefully get some MP boost. Ooh, that was a good play on them. I still think we just have to kill this. Another selfless is definitely not what the doctor ordered here. So we'll take more, then we can kill that. Come on, Tyrant. Where were you like 3 to 4 draw steps ago? So if we take a hit from here, we have nothing in our graveyard to get back. So we'll be at 1. This is basically GG, opponent. Because I don't think we'll... I think we'll just miss. Yeah. Like, I tried to drop it, but it did not get there in time. That was very rough. Usually that matchup, you know, you don't see Jill as much as you see Ryu, and the Ryu matchup, like I said, is usually pretty good. You have a lot of big creatures, which Ryu usually has a hard time because all their BB hoods and all their like ETB creatures of deal damage is usually like 1 to 3 damage, and when you have a slow Tyrant that wants to actually flip, it feels great. Shadowblade, let's go. This, more likely than not, is the 4 MP Morgan, which, having Mad Massacre, is very good. Because as soon as any of our creatures get under 5 health, so 4 or lower, we want to sacrifice it. Because we do not want them to be able to steal it with 4 eyes. Because that is exactly how we lose. Because if they can steal this, then we don't have it to resurrect with our critical or anything in the future. Yeah, we're going to try to use this, and then if they like pump it or counter it, we can use one of these two. And this feels very, very good. So it's at 5. We can just kill this. I wish we got to it before it took damage, but they did a good job of doing it where we couldn't really react. And then, like I said, we'll kill it, even though like you could be like, oh, well, why waste a card, because these will hit and they'll trade. But in the meantime, if they net 4 and have a 4 eyes, that's just kind of, not game over, but it would be very hard for us. Not game over just because we have this, but like, we might as well just do that 2 for 1. Basically 2 for 1 ourselves so we don't get a worse 2 for 1 down the line. We could just jam this slow Tyrant. Ooh, Rebirth is good. I think we'll just do... Is it bad that I kind of want to just kill this? You know what? I'm going to. It's very expensive, but we don't have a way to kill this Tyrant ourselves, which kind of feels a little bad. And I guess we still don't, which feels bad. Yeah. And that was a very good spread. Let's just do... Let's do this so then they don't have any... Whew, I'm kind of surprised that they did that. We are kind of back against the wall here, though. Okay, yeah, they're just kind of going all out to get the pressure going, which I don't blame them at all, especially that Bertha. Bertha is very nice. So let's just do this. Let's just do this. Just to kind of net some MP, hopefully get some small drops. This is going to be hard. I want the Tyrant to go in the middle, hopefully. Or, I mean, the Devil to go in the middle. That was the worst. Because we need to put this up here. So this is going to do 3 damage. That's fine. We can't eat it, because if we eat it, then this Tyrant is still alive, so we need this to trade, which is unfortunate. And then we're just going to have to try to bite the bullet and hopefully do like a 2 for 1 ourselves. Hopefully this goes at the bottom. Ooh, that's a good one. Let's just do this.
You think you can stand against a god?
Ooh, if we get a slow tyrant. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's just do this. Because we don't want, because this will hit us a couple more times and we kind of want to get rid of that. That's pretty good. That was pretty nice. At least it's only for 2 damage, and hopefully this will hit, and then we can just play this. Okay, this is going a lot better. But they're just netting MP like mad over there. We could eat one so they can't 4-eyes, but I think I'm fine because we want to keep the pressure going. Let's see, they have, that would be for 3, so this will actually trade, so I don't want to eat it. Let's play this because we can eat that at any time. Okay, perfect. Yeah, as you can see, that matchup is very scary because it's so... That's why I love having the 4 kill spells of kill our own stuff, of the 2 selfless and the 2 mad massacres. That's a great way for us to be like, our tyrant or our devil are getting, you know, less than 5 health. We'll eat it because we really need it to get in the graveyard, where it's kind of 4-eyes or bust for them, because if they cannot steal any of our big creatures with 4-eyes, it definitely makes us more favored. So overall today we went 2-1. This deck is pretty good. I like it a lot. It's very powerful because you just are playing very powerful cards. Like Living Death is intrinsically very powerful, as well as like the combination of False Throne and Rebirth. All extremely powerful things, and especially this metagame is very good for it. The hardest deck I would say is the Morgan 4-drop deck, but you kind of you gobble up Ryu. Ryu is a very good matchup for this. To be fair though, Ryu is seeing a lot less play, but it's still like a solid deck in the meta, so you still see it, and this is such a good matchup for the Wesker deck. So that is it for me. If you like what you saw, please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all next time.